Peace and welcome to Earth Crowns. Today I'm going to be doing an instructional tutorial on this crown that I have named Flower Bud crown. And the reason why it's called a flower bud is because once you look at the final product, once you look at the final design, you're going to notice that it highly resembles a flower right before it blossoms or opens up. It's very interesting because this brings me into a conversation about India. One of the scarves that I'm using is actually from India, is a Sari scarf, and so it gets me thinking a lot about India and its history, its culture. India has an extremely rich history and culture. In terms of culture, we see it here in the West, how they've brought it over here. I'm talking about its culinary institutions, its philosophical ideas that were brought here, and so while you have Father Allah teaching, the streets, the youth in the streets, you have Krishnamurti, who is brought here by the more, hippie movement, white mainstream middle class, whether it was students, brought him over to explain some of the concepts about self-awareness, self-perception, who am I, these ideas. You also have, yoga, which is hitting big now in the mainstream, and you have all kinds of yoga gimmicks. And a lot of these yoga practices, while they do have their benefits, it's still, it's a gimmick, and it's not the true essence, the true teachings of what yoga is, and what it stands for, and how that relates to the individual. So, and when you look at the culinary world of India is amazing as well. So I'm just very happy, and I'm also very proud that this particular Black culture has been able to retain a lot of itself, even though it's been penetrated. I mean, you have, as Wayne Chandler notes in his book Ancient Future, you have the Aryans coming in and invaded. This was one of the earliest invasions of any Black people of the world, and that's where you get Hinduism from, Brahmanism, and what this did to India in terms of their thoughts and how things became more mysterious as opposed to their teachings of the self. And not only that, then later on, with colonization, you have the British taking over, and all these things happening in India. And even though they still deal with a lot of ideas that are oppressive in nature, their Blackness, you can still see that it's still dominant. It's very hard to get rid of it, And so this style is going to be a lot. It's kind of like an ode, to India and its people. And obviously one of the people that I've loved the most is Vandana Shiva. She is amazing. She is she's been labeled as an eco-feminist. And the reason why I do like that terminology for her is because she is viewing the earth through that female divine, through that female perspective, because the woman is exactly like the planet Earth. We are exactly, the metaphor is literal. And so when you look through her work, she's amazing. And of course, she honors the male divine as well. You can tell that one of her philosophical influences is Gandhi. Even though there's a lot of misconceptions also about Gandhi himself. I mean, he's been called a racist. A lot of other sub-Black movements in the U.S., have labeled him a racist. And you have to understand Gandhi. And if you understand Gandhi, then you can understand an African American that has made it to the upper middle class and has a white view about everything. It's the same concept. It's the same. It's like the vernacular is not there, right? I mean, and it's interesting, right? Because then people can be like, oh, well, why does to be a true black person, do you need to be the stereotype of what a black female or a black male is in this country? No, but you have to look at the mentality that an individual is coming from, and you can, when you look at a person, when you look at their mentality, when you interact with them, you can gauge, and you can, and of course, if you get to know them deeper, you can start to see, you know, how their mentality is being influenced and how they're internalizing that white middle class mentality and way of being. And so with Gandhi, it's the same thing. When we look at Gandhi, we have to see, okay, what is his trajectory? How did he develop into the person he became? He had a lot of backwards ideas at the beginning, of course. He literally didn't have a knowledge of self. He had not awakened to the reality of what it was to be a black man in this world. And, you know, a part of that had to do with his upbringing. Gandhi was a part of the British Crown. He studied in Britain. He became a lawyer, which I also like to go into a tangent and say that, right, some of the greatest lawyers became amazing revolutionaries and thinkers and changers of society. You have Fidel Castro, right, El Comandante. You have Albizu Campos, right? Albizu Campos is a Harvard graduate, you know, with a law degree. And of course you have Gandhi, and you know, because Gandhi is from the East, that's why he's so much more complex to understand. But you know, reading his autobiography, Experiments with Truth, when you can, you know, the movie is good too, you know, if you watch it. When you look through all this, you realize, wow, you know, he literally had this path. And like any other man, first you must look at the situation within your own people. And once you start to realize how your own people are being oppressed, then you can start to look more outwardly towards the world. And this is exactly what happened to Gandhi. You know, he realized we, you know, the Indian people, we need so and so and so. So anyways, with this, I want to, you know, just go into the head wrap. So for this crown, I will be doing a high style. A lot of my other tutorials are basically a lot of, I start to work from the top to the bottom to create something and then maybe come back up. But for this particular style, the focus will be high up here. And so I'm going to be using two rectangular scarves. The first one is this green color here. And a lot of people have different like names for the color. Some people say this is a true green. Other people say it's a forest green. So, you know, I guess it depends on where you're looking for the scarf and whoever is selling the scarf, what particular color designation they've giving the scarf. So I'm also gonna be using this Sari scarf, and if you notice, a Sari is basically, it's an Indian scarf, and it's basically scarves that have been recycled, and so that to prevent them from throwing it out, what you have is that they sew these leftover pieces of the scarves together to create one big fabric. And for this particular style, I want to use this parts here, so that I can, and you'll see where I'm trying to use it at. But I'm gonna still use the whole scarf. So to start, I want to go ahead and fold this rectangular scarf about 1/3 of the way, and as I usually say in a lot of my videos, is 1/3 of the way. Sometimes the scarf might be, you know, too big or too small, and you have to fold it, you know, and everybody says different things. For me, it's 1/3 when I truly measure it. And one of the things that I will do is my right, which is your left, will be longer, okay, than the tails, okay, will be longer. So here are my tails. This one's longer than this one, okay, and I'm gonna fold it in this way because I want to use the longer tail from my left side. Okay, so here I am. So I'm just gonna tuck this in. Well, not tuck it, but fold it in the back there, or tie it, better said. You know, I really suck at just saying, explaining these tutorials with like, you know, technical terms and things like that. So, you know, just watch it. You know, I learned by watching, not necessarily having somebody explain it to me, you know, technically. So I'm bringing this tail up, and I'm just going to find somewhere to tuck it, and I'm going to tuck it here, okay? And you don't have to worry about things like this, because the Sari scarf will block that or hide this little thing here. And you know, when I first put this on, you might want to work with this, you know, pull it back a little bit to make it neat here in the front. Okay, and this tail, I'm just gonna pull it back, and I'm gonna come back to it and deal with it later. All right, so with the Sari scarf, what I'm going to do is I am going to work from the bottom up, as opposed to the top to the back. And again, right, this is what I want to work with, right, this right here. So I am going to put it like this, okay, and bring it up like this. And I want the ends to be the same length, and they are, okay. So if you notice, these are the patterns that I wanted to work with. And I'm bringing, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to tie this just like I tied the green scarf, but the green scarf was tied at the bottom. This one, I'm tying it here in the front, okay? And I'm tying it towards my left side, if you notice, okay? Now I am going to deal with this tail first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out a little bit, right? This way. And I'm going to bring it over, right, towards the back. Just move this so you guys. Okay, and I am going to loop it back here. Just about halfway, not the whole thing. Okay, and just leave it there. I'll come back to this, which I'll bring to the front later. Okay, and then I will repeat a similar process with this scarf. If you notice, right, I'm bringing it like this to then loop. And now I'm left with this. What I want to do is kind of just like bring it over as well. And loop it. Okay, so I've looped. I decided not to deal with this tail first. I'm still dealing with this first tail, and I just looped it from the back to the front, whatever was remaining from it, okay? And now this will serve to kind of go over that, and I'll be looping this one as well. And I'm actually looping the whole thing. And now what I'm doing is kind of just spreading out this. Okay. And this is not done yet, but now it's time to bring this green tail. Yes, my daughter has opinions. So I'm bringing this up. Let me just fold this as best as possible, right? I don't want to fold it too much. Just want to fold it in enough. Okay, here it is. Sorry, I was looking for the other end. And I'm just going to fold it in a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to bring it kind of diagonally, right? Around, through, okay? and I am going to place this part of the tail, the remaining part of it, inside this initial part of the green tail. Now, I'm just going to play around with this part of the sari, right? And until I get the desired effect that I want to the best of my ability. Okay, now and I'm gonna spread this more here. Here's the fabric, I'm bringing it out. Okay, this is what I wanted to use originally, so it came. And I'm gonna pull this back a little bit. And pull the green too back. Okay. So I want to show my ear a little bit. Okay. And just continue to kind of play with this until it has like a cuter, more concise effect. Okay. And I'm gonna tuck some of it into the green. And to me, it looks perfect this way. I love it. Okay, I love the consistency that it achieved. And if you notice, with any head wrap, the picture that I initially took of this crown is not going to be exactly the same as it, but it is. I have a general idea of what I first made, and so this is a great replication of it. Now I am going to finish this crown with these beautiful earrings. That's an image of, if it stops moving, of Atabe, and she is the Taino symbol for fertility. And this is artwork by Tanya Torres. These earrings are from her. And you know, I kind of wanted, because the head wrap, the crown itself is so, it's a high style. I don't want to take from it with big earrings, so I thought these earrings would be perfect for it. So I'm just going to turn around so that you can see the final product, the final design. This to me looks great. So I'm going to go turn around so you can see how the back looks and the sides look. And there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope this is a style that suits you and that you're able to like mold it and shape it and make it your own. Thank you and peace.